All right, students, this is just a quick demonstration of how to create a frequency distribution in SPSS and also how to create a graphic, something of a graphic device such as a bar graph, a pie chart, histogram. Okay, so what we're going to do, this is SPSS obviously, it has the general social survey data set open, and we're going to come over here to analyze. We're going to click analyze. That in order to create a frequency distribution, we're going to click analyze. That's where you're going to go most of the time. Then we're going to click on descriptive statistics. After we get to descriptive statistics, we are then going to click on frequencies. Okay. Now, right here, what it's displaying are the variable labels, and you want to display the variable names just because it's easier to find the variable names because the names are alphabetized. So we'll click variable names, and now we have the variable names. And as long as this box down here, which it says display frequency tables, is checked, it's going to create a frequency distribution for you. Now, if it's already checked when you open this up, so the only way that it's not going to display a frequency table for you is if you uncheck this. But we don't want to do that. We want to actually check it. So we have a frequency table. Let's just say I wanted to create a frequency distribution for the variable degree. So I want to know, based on the respondents from the general social survey data set, how many people got a bachelor's, how many people got a PhD, how many people got an associate's, how many people got a high school diploma, and how many people just didn't even graduate. So what I do is come over here, I click on degree. Now there's two ways to get this degree into this variable box. I can double click it, or I can use this arrow key to get it back and forth. Okay, so that's all you really need to do. So this is going to create a frequency distribution for the variable degree. I'm going to press OK. Okay, now what opened up is what we refer to as the output window. So I clicked on frequencies, and I created a frequency distribution. This is the data view window. This is the output window. So obviously the output window is where SPSS provides me the information that I request from SPSS. So here it's showing for the 1,500 respondents. How do I know that there's 1,500 respondents? Valid responses 1,500. How many people were missing? 0 people, 0 missing responses. So everybody answer this question who's in this data set that we have here. 174 people of those people, respondents had less than high school, 749 high school, 118 had some type of associate's degree, 292 had a bachelor's degree, 167 had a graduate degree, and that totals up to 1,500. Now, to the right of this, you're going to see percents and valid percents. And what you need to know about a percent versus a valid percent is if we did have some missing cases, let's just say that some people, let's just say 100 people didn't answer the question, then you would have like 100 missing and 1,400 valid. And then you would also have down here right below graduate, it would say something like missing, and it would let you know that 100 people didn't answer the question. So the percents would calculate it for everybody, including the people who didn't answer the question. And then the valid percents would only calculate it for the people who actually answered the question. Okay, so when you're reporting the percentages for a frequency distribution, you're going to want to report valid percents. And then here to the right, we have the cumulative percents. So what you do with the cumulative percents, if you watch the lecture, you take the percentage from the first category and then add it to the next, and you keep on adding it together to get the 100% of the distribution. Okay, so that's how you go about creating a frequency distribution. Now, how do you go about creating a graph? Well, there's actually 2 ways to do this. There's easy way and like a slightly harder way to do this. Now, the easiest way to do this, and the only thing you're really going to need to do for this class is to create a frequency distribution such as go to analyze, click on descriptive statistics, and then come over here, click on frequencies again. Now, let's just say I wanted some type of graphic device for this variable. What I would do is I'd come over here to the right or click on charts. Okay, so I click on charts, and depending on what type of chart that I have, it only has 3 charts available for me to use: bar charts, pie charts, and then histograms. Now, if you remember from the lecture, the histogram is for interval ratio level data. A bar chart and a pie chart are for nominal and or ordinal level data. Since we know that degree, and I know that degree is an ordinal level variable because the categories are ordered, I'm just going to go ahead and choose a bar chart. And then, see, I could leave it as frequencies, but it's actually better for percentages because it makes it easier to compare percentages. It makes it easier to compare the different categories. So I'm going to go ahead and click percentages. I'm going to press continue, and I'm going to press OK. Okay, so now I've created a bar chart for the variable degree. That's the easy way to do it. The other way that you can do this, and the reason why you may want to do it in a different way, is because, like I said, there's only 3 charts there. And, I guess you can say it was just somewhat limited. The other way that you can do this is to come over to this Graphs tab. So come over here, click on Graphs, and then come down, don't go to Chart Builder, that's something different. Come over here to Legacy Dialogues. And then here you have the options of what type of bar charts, pie charts, histograms. So you have bar charts, you have 3D bar charts, you can have a line graph, which is a frequency polygon, you have pie, box plot, population pyramid, scatter diagram, a histogram. But like I said, we're dealing with ordinal level data here, so we're just going to go ahead and calculate a bar graph, bar chart. Okay, so I'm going to just go ahead and do it for simple, and do it for summaries for groups of cases. I could do clustered and stacked, and I'll explain the use of that later. Press define. And then, so I already have the variable degree in here, but what I would typically do is I would come over and click on the variable degree. Now put it into this category axis, okay? And then, again, I could do it with the n, so I could just do it with frequency, so the number of cases, but like I said, for comparison purposes, I'd actually prefer to have percentages here, so I'm gonna click on this percentages. I'm going to press OK, and then I'm going to have the percents for the bar graph. So it's pretty much the same thing that we have up here. Like I said, so that's one of the more simplistic ways to do this. Now let's just say I wanted to compare the degrees for males versus females. Well, what could I do? So this is where the graphs and the legacy dialog becomes a little bit more useful, because you can do a lot more with going through this route than what I had shown you previous. So say I want to do a bar graph. But let's just say instead of doing a simple bar graph, I want to do a clustered bar graph. So let's just say I want to come over here, I click on clustered, and then I press still summaries for groups of cases, and I press define. Now, what I'm looking at here is the variable labels, but I wanted to display variable names. So I want to display the variable names because, like I said, I know that the variable names are alphabetized, so it makes it easier to find the variable that I'm looking for. So let's just say I still want to create a bar graph for the variable degree. So what I would do is I'd click on degree, and I'd put it into this category axis, okay? But let's just say I want to compare whether or not males are more likely to get higher levels of education or females more likely to get higher levels of education, okay? So what I would do is I would still create a bar graph for the variable degree, but then so say I want to compare males versus females, I would put the variable sex into this define clusters by. Okay, so I click define clusters by, and then I'm going to press, oh, and I need percentages of cases as well, instead of just frequencies. I don't really want frequencies, I want percentages. So I'll do this. So when we look at this, we see that females are slightly more likely to earn bachelor's degree than males. I guess males are earning slightly more graduate degrees. Females are much more likely to finish junior college and get an associate's. And then males seem to, in general, have lower levels of education according to this chart, okay? Now, the reason why you wouldn't want to do frequencies here is because, let's just say that there's more females in the sample than there are males, which there is. You would just have a larger frequency for each one of these cases, for each one of these categories. Now, so it's going to look like, oh, well, females were way more likely to earn a higher percentage of high school diplomas, less than high school, junior colleges, bachelors, and graduates. But that's not the wrong way to look at it. So it's better to do it with percentages, because you're looking at the percentage of females who got bachelors or graduates versus just the frequency. So the frequency would be the wrong way to actually display this. Okay. Other than that, so that's how you create graphs. And like I said, if you have interval ratio level data, you could also create histograms. You just come over here and create a histogram, and it's pretty much the same process, right? Other than that, that is how you create a frequency distribution and a graph in SPSS.